Sequels, sequels, and more sequels. It seems like I can't go a day without hearing about a new sequel to an existing game. Whether it just be a sequel for the story, a prequel for the story, or just the exact same thing rehashed year after year after year. Except for the games that I want to hear a sequel for. The games that I've been waiting for another entry into the series, something to look to expand, or just something I haven't seen in years that I loved as a child. And that's why I had to make this list. After seeing so many different things announced and so many different sequels, rumored this week, I just wanted to talk about the ones that I've been wanting to see for years. This is the Portlandian bringing you my top 10 games that deserve a sequel. Number 10. The first game on this list is a game you may or may not have even heard of. It's a game made by Nintendo for the Game Boy to kind of satisfy the shoot-'em-up fans, and it's called Solar Striker. And it's a vertical shooter, and it has a very basic premise in that you need to shoot everything that comes at you, and you will get power-ups, which will just continually power up your lasers, first from a 1 laser to 2 to 3, and then to super lasers, and so on and so forth. So you can just continually keep getting upgrades so long as you keep collecting power-ups and not dying. Dying will always degrade your lasers or your weapon to the version right before the one you have. But it was a fun game. It did a lot of things right. It had clever level design. You did have to do some memorization, but not too much to be able to pass through. Because of this, the bosses seemed to be a little bit easier, possibly as a reward for making it through the tougher portions of the levels. And then the music is just amazing. It's possibly the best music on the Game Boy, aside the Pokemon series. Just listen to it, it's just fantastic. I mean, really, why wouldn't we want another game in this series? It's a great shooter, it was a lot of fun, and I would love to have Nintendo come back and make another one of these for the 3DS or for the Wii U. Number 9. Monsters, Aliens, and the Undead. Playing football? Mutant League Football was one of a kind, and showed off an amazing imagination that EA once possessed. Not only were the featured teams all sorts of dark creatures, but they could kill each other in the game. You could kill the ref. You could step on landmines on the field. It was crazy. It was insane. It was energetic, and it was fun. The game was responsive too, running on the same exact engine as the Genesis Madden series, so you didn't really have any problems with the controls either. It was a fantastic game. But the series hasn't seen a sequel since its original 1993 release. However, there is hope. In EA's NFL Blitz, the zombie team did have a Mutant League Football emblem on their jerseys. So I can hope and dream it comes out and we get more than just this cameo. Number 8. Darkstalkers is a series I grew interested in after my first time playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in the arcades. Understandably, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 had so many Darkstalkers characters that I'd never seen before and never heard of that I just had to look them up and find out why they were even in this game in the first place. And what I found was Darkstalkers, and I went and played the game, and it was extremely well balanced and possibly one of the most well-made fighting games ever to exist. And, like Mutant League Football, this game had creatures of the night to play as, which I'm always a fan of, probably because I was raised in Tim Burton films. And wouldn't it be awesome to see these characters in new Street Fighter 4 graphics? I mean, that would just be amazing, right? Well, the cool thing is, we as a community can actually make that happen. How? Well, Capcom recently released Darkstalkers Resurrection, an HD remastering of Darkstalkers 2 and 3, to Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network. And Capcom is using this release to gauge if a sequel is a good financial investment for them. So, if you, like me, want Darkstalkers 4 to eventually come out, go buy Darkstalkers Resurrection right now. You are investing in your own future at that point. Number 7. We in America like to complain that we don't have Mother 1 or 3. And most people cannot get a SNES copy of Mother 2, or as we know it, Earthbound, reasonably priced either. However, what if we had a game that was kind of like Mother, and it was never released in Japan, even though it was made by Nintendo? Does that kind of sound interesting to you guys? Well, then you need to go pick up Star Tropics and Zoda's Revenge Star Tropics 2 for the NES. And you will find a quirky mix of Zelda-styled top-down RPG with Mother-styled RPG elements in one fantastic, fun game. Yet this game hasn't seen a sequel, or re-release, or really anything, since those two NES titles. And that's a damn shame because these games are just really easy to play and they're very funny. Plus, only the Americas and Europe ever had this game, so Nintendo releasing another one just for us would make up for the fact that Mother 3 was never showing up on any of our shores. Well, mostly. Number 6. There was a version of it on the Super Nintendo. There was a version of it on the N64. There was a version of it on the GameCube. And since then, we haven't seen one of these games. And that, of course, would have to be F-Zero. Now, F-Zero is one of the best racing games ever to be made. They are fast, especially GX. They are hard, especially GX. And because of that, they're challenging and fun. You learn how to be a better racer, and you learn how to play these games a lot better just by continuing to play them. They don't remain hard forever. And I really, really like these games because of that. It actually is instructive and challenging without being too daunting. Yet, we didn't see a release for this series on the Wii, and we haven't seen an announcement for a release for the Wii U. In fact, the only news we've got about another F-Zero game is that Shigeru Miyamoto said they didn't see the reason for another one because they couldn't really expand upon anything that they did in GX. Well, that's fine with me. Give me GX HD. I mean, you're doing Wind Waker HD. Why the hell not? I'd buy it. Number 5. The Star Wars series has spawned so many games that it's really hard to keep count of them all. But a lot of these games have had a cult following, and a lot of them have demanded a new sequel in the series. But like all my other top 10 lists, I have to pick one game per franchise. And while I would love to do one for Battlefront, because everybody wants Battlefront 3, and I would love to do one for Knights of the Old Republic, because the Old Republic didn't really do exactly what we wanted it to do as a sequel. And I would love another Jedi Knight game. Still, even then, they are all overshadowed by one game series from the Star Wars franchise that I have been waiting for another entry in since the GameCube. And that was Factor 5's Rogue Squadron series. Now, I know, Factor 5 is gone. They don't make games anymore, they don't exist, and that's a shame. But LucasArts still exists, and Disney owns them now. And with all the funding that they have available to them in this day and age, they should be able to go ahead and find a developer who would be good enough to do this kind of a game, and make it happen. Now, why do I rate this game even above Battlefront and getting a sequel? Well, because for me, the Rogue Squadron games were the true representation of the Star Wars series. It wasn't about the ground fights, or the Jedi, or anything like that to me. When I was a kid, I loved watching the starship battles. They were so energetic and amazing to watch, especially that end one at Return of the Jedi where you're fighting over Endor. That was just ridiculous, crazy, and there was so much stuff going on, and it felt true to life as to what a Star Wars battle should be. Then, I grew up with the TIE Fighter and X-Wing games, and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, and I love these, in the ship shooter games. I really love flight sim styled games that had me do that in the Star Wars universe. And the next step in that direction was the Rogue Squadron series on the N64 and GameCube. And they had done what the X-Wing and TIE Fighter series had done, and perfected it. They made it absolutely perfect in every conceivable way. And you can actually play through the movies in Rogue Squadron 2, which made it the highlight of the entire series. And I just want another one because I love this style of game. I love the gameplay, I love everything about it. It is just the perfect capturing of what the Star Wars universe is entirely about. And that's why I would love to see Rogue Squadron 4. Please, LucasArts, make it happen. Number 4. Now this may seem like a bit of an odd choice seeming as the franchise isn't dead, but this kind of game in the franchise is dead. Let me go ahead and explain. I love Castlevania. I love Castlevania 1, I love Castlevania 2, I love Castlevania 3, I love Castlevania 4, and I especially love Castlevania Dracula X Rondo of Blood. However, since then, all the games have gone to the Metroidvania style, or the Lords of Shadow style. The classic platforming 2D Castlevania game is just dead. It doesn't exist anymore. And that's what I would love to see. I would love to see Konami come back and make Castlevania 5. Get Simon Belmont out of retirement, though, yes, I know he was in the 3DS game Mirror of Fate, or Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate, but that game didn't really live up to its promises. Regardless, I would love to see Castlevania 5, and I would love to see it come back to its roots. Simon Belmont whipping in just forward or in 8 directions, I really don't care. As long as I'm getting that kind of game back, I'll be happy. Number 3. One game series that I've been extremely late to the party on has been Panzer Dragoon, and to date I've played through every single game except for Saga, because I just don't have the $200 to spend on it. But even then, these games are incredibly well made and a lot of fun. Sure, they're rail shooters, but they're rail shooters in the same way Sin and Punishment is a rail shooter. It doesn't really feel like one. You feel like you're having a decent amount of challenge while you go through and having an arcade-like experience while doing it. And I enjoy that. I really do. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like everybody else did, because Orta was the last release in the series, and that came out in 2003. So it's been a decade since we've seen a Panzer Dragoon game. And that's a shame, because that game could have been perfect on the Wii. I mean, imagine the Wii remote being used like in Treasure, Sin and Punishment game for the Wii, where you just go ahead and use the Wii remote to aim at your enemies and you can shoot them, or you can tag them and do like a missile sort of thing. It would be fantastic. You'd have holding down B for shoot or A for shoot and have B for missiles. And that would work out tremendously well. I don't know why it didn't come. I'm hoping that possibly Sega can do something on the Wii U, where they can have the gamepad be used so you can actually touch the enemies that you want to fire at and hold them down and swipe across to be able to do missiles and things like that, in lieu of having the Wii remote. Or you could use a Wii remote in the same way that I already explained for the Wii version that should have been released. Either way, I think it's criminal that Sega has been ignoring this franchise, especially when it is just so much fun and could be so well placed on the Wii or Wii U. And in the future, I hope we do get a Wii U sequel to the series, and it would just be so much fun to revisit this franchise in glorious HD and just have a blast with it. Number 2. Of the 3 leaders of the video game industry right now, Microsoft does have to be the dumbest of them all. How do you go about spending millions and millions of dollars to acquire a studio that has a storied past of excellence in video gaming, has created very memorable and very popular intellectual properties, and then failed to exploit them in every conceivable way? Where is Battletoads? Where is Conquer 2? Where is Banjo 3? Where is Perfect Dark 3? What the hell is going on, Microsoft? You have made this company that was excellent, that people respected and would buy the games just because the Rare logo was on them, and turned them into a Kinect game churning machine of giant pieces of crap. I don't understand it. But the thing that really hurts the most, the thing that doesn't even make sense for you business-wise, is that the one very, very hardcore game that they make, the one that would resonate the most with your audience, you refuse to make. Where is Killer Instinct 3? Why is that not here? That would be a console seller. Killer Instinct 3 is a hardcore fighting game, and because you own Rare, you could make it exclusive to the Xbox. So all the people who grew up with Killer Instinct, who played it on their Super Nintendo, N64, and in the arcade, would only be able to get it on the Xbox. And if they haven't bought your system now, they will now, because Killer Instinct is there. Yet you refuse to freaking make it, and I don't understand it, and it just boggles my damn mind. Number 1. The last game that I would really love to see a sequel for. I probably never will. And I blame you. Yes, all of you watching this video, or just mainly the gaming community in general, I blame you. And the reason for that is because you guys did not buy Shenmue 2. Shenmue and Shenmue 2 are some of the best games ever made. Seriously, I will back that up every single time I'm asked. Shenmue is fantastic. Shenmue 2 is even better. Yet, nobody bought it. And because of that, we got a cliffhanger ending at the end of Shenmue 2, and we have no idea what's going to happen next. The story was never completed, and it just leaves me feeling empty and hollow inside because I wanted to finish up everything. I wanted it to be tied in a nice pretty bow, just like Mass Effect got, just like Gears of War got, but no, we don't get that with Shenmue, because you little bastards didn't buy it. And I'm sorry if I do sound angry right now, but damn it I am. You know what? I love Killer Instinct, and I haven't seen a Killer Instinct game in almost freaking 2 decades now. And I haven't seen another Shenmue game in a decade. And the reason for it? Because nobody bought it? Not because it wasn't a great game, critically acclaimed, had a fantastic story, and people appreciated it who actually did play the damn thing? No. It makes me mad that the developers actually made it a cliffhanger ending in the first freaking place, so that way we would expect a third one, and then never get it. It's an unfinished story, and that just makes me, it irks me. It just irks me so much. Sega, please, I am begging you to finish Shenmue 3. I'm begging you to commission somebody to do it. I don't even care if it's a downloadable title and lasts an hour. I just want that damn story finished. I just want to know how it ends. I don't care about anything else. And that concludes this week's Top 10. I'll see you guys next week for another Top 10. And as always, please subscribe to Jungle Gamer. Jump onto my channel, subscribe there as well, so that way you can get continual updates of other videos besides Top 10s that I make. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.